When I ask you to picture a cranberry, I mean, I can almost guarantee exactly what pops into your head right now.
Oh, yeah, it's usually one of two very specific things.
Right. It's deeply ingrained. So first you've got that gelatinous bright red cylinder.
Complete with the literal ridges from the tin can.
Exactly, the tin can ridges, which is kind of wobbling there on a Thanksgiving
Oh,
table.
yeah.
Or second, you're probably picturing one of those little rectangular juice boxes from your childhood.
Oh, right, the ones where you desperately try to poke the tiny straw through the foil.
Yes, and it was always filled with a liquid that was it was so intensely sweet it almost makes your teeth ache just thinking about it, right?
It does, and, the truth is we've completely manufactured our relationship with this plant.
We really have.
Most people go their entire lives without ever eating an actual raw cranberry. I mean, in our modern diet, it's just relegated to, like, a holiday novelty that jiggles on a plate.
Or it's a sugary dyed red liquid that's sort of masquerading as healthy fruit juice,
Exactly, it's a total facade.
which is such a massive disservice to what this plant actually is, biologically
Yeah,
speaking.
absolutely. It's a huge miss for public health.
So today, we're taking a stack of highly concentrated clinical research. Specifically, we're looking at 3 major urology studies and a really comprehensive nutritional breakdown from some recent botanical research. And we're doing a deep dive into the true wellness potential of the cranberry.
Yeah, we're getting past the marketing today.
We are. We're stripping away the sugary PR. We are tossing out the juice box, and we are looking at the actual clinical science of this local bogberry.
Okay, let's unpack this. How did a fruit with such incredible documented biological benefits end up as, like, nothing more than a dessert garnish or a sugary cocktail mixer?
Well, the commercialization of the cranberry in the mid-20th century really obscured its original value. It just got buried.
Because sugar sells better than tartness? Basically, yeah. Long before the sugar industry got involved and, turned it into essentially a breakfast soda, the clinical science behind cranberries is what made them famous in the nutritional world to begin with.
Right.
And when you look at the source material we're analyzing today, the focus just zeroes in immediately on one very specific, highly researched area of human health.
Which is the urinary tract.
Exactly, the urinary tract.
And I think a lot of people have heard that whispered as kind of an old wives' tale, right? Like, drink some cranberry juice if you feel a UTI coming on.
Oh yeah, it's a very common piece of folk advice.
But the studies we're looking at show this isn't just folk medicine. Like, this is hard, observable clinical science.
It's deeply mechanical, actually.
Right. And the research points specifically to these unique biological compounds hidden inside the matrix of the berry. They're called A-type proanthocyanidins.
Yeah, proanthocyanidins, or you usually just call them PACs for short, because it's
Oh,
helpful.
PACs. God, so what exactly are they?
Well, they're a class of polyphenols. And to break that down a bit, polyphenols are essentially the plant kingdom's natural defense system.
Because plants can't, like, run away from danger.
Exactly.
Weird.
Plants can't run away from environmental stress or pathogens or harsh sunlight, so they synthesize these complex chemical compounds to protect themselves.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the A-type PACs found in cranberries are incredibly unique. But to really understand why they are so vital for human urinary tract health, we have to kind of step back and look at the mechanics of how harmful bacteria actually operate.
Specifically E. coli, right?
E. coli. We have to look at how it actually causes infections in the body.
Because E. coli is notoriously stubborn. Like, it doesn't just float freely through your system where it can be easily flushed out with a bunch of water.
No, not at all. It survives because it has this ability to physically cling to the cellular walls of the urinary tract.
It literally anchors itself.
Yes. E. coli bacteria are covered in these microscopic hair-like appendages called fimbriae.
Fimbria.
Yeah, fimbriae. Think of them as, like, tiny grappling hooks.
Wait, grappling hooks, like actual physical hooks.
Essentially, yeah. When the bacteria enter the urinary tract, they use these fimbriae to just latch onto the tissue walls. And that prevents them from being washed away by the body's natural processes.
Oh, wow. So they just grab on and hold tight.
Exactly. And once they've got a firm grip, they begin to multiply. And that is when a severe infection really takes hold.
So these A-type proanthocyanidins essentially act like a non-stick Teflon coating for our internal plumbing.
What's fascinating here is the sheer mechanical nature of that defense. The Teflon analogy is perfectly accurate.
That is so wild to me. Like, it's not a chemical thing.
No, it's really structural. Most people think of dietary antioxidants as these abstract, invisible health boosters that just sort of float around making your cells healthier.
Right, like a magic dust or something.
Yeah, or, when they think of treating an infection, they think of the cranberry acting like an antibiotic, like it's going in with chemical warfare and aggressively killing the bacteria.
Just wiping everything out.
Right. But the sources show that isn't what's happening at all.
It's a structural intervention, not a chemical one. The A-type pegs aren't actually killing anything.
They're acting as physical, microscopic shields.
How does that actually work, though? Like, what happens when you eat the berry?
Well, when you consume the whole cranberry, these specific PAPA molecules travel through your system, and they actually bind directly to the E. coli's fimbriae.
They bind to the grappling hooks?
Exactly. They wrap around those tiny grappling hooks and completely deform them. It totally disables the bacteria's ability to latch onto the urinary tract walls.
Ah, that's brilliant. So because the bacteria can no longer get a grip, the E. coli just simply slides off the tissue.
Yep, it just slides right off and is flushed out of the system naturally.
I mean, that completely flips the paradigm of how we think about fighting off bacterial issues.
It really does. It's a totally different approach.
Instead of waiting for an infection to take hold and then carpet bombing your entire biological system with heavy antibiotics to kill everything, good bacteria included, by the way, you are just quietly changing the environment.
You're just changing the terrain.
Right. You're making the walls slippery, you're installing that nonstick armor so the bad actors can't even get a foothold to begin with.
And that physical blocking mechanism is crucial for long-term health,
Yeah.
largely because it doesn't contribute to antibiotic resistance.
Oh, right, because you aren't mutating the bacteria by trying to kill it.
Exactly. It's gentle on the human body, but incredibly effective against the pathogen.
That's amazing.
But this structural defense mechanism is really just the opening act of what this berry is doing at a cellular level.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. The botanical breakdown in our sources highlights that raw cranberries are also dense with vitamin C and a mineral called manganese.
Okay, well, vitamin C is obviously the heavy hitter we all kind of recognize for immune support and tissue repair, right?
Sure, it's vital for synthesizing collagen and combating oxidative stress.
But manganese is one of those unsung hero minerals. Like, I feel like no one talks about manganese.
No, they really don't, but they should. Looking at the nutritional data, manganese acts as a critical coenzyme in our mitochondria.
The powerhouse of the cell.
Powerhouse of the cell, exactly. It powers something called superoxide dismutase.
Okay, that sounds intense. What is superoxide dismutase?
It's basically your cell's internal antioxidant defense system. It goes around neutralizing free radicals.
So you've got this triad of benefits then. You've got the Teflon shield against E. coli, vitamin C for tissue repair, and the manganese for core cellular energy and oxidative defense.
It's a remarkably sophisticated package of preventative health.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all packed into just this tiny red sphere.
Which brings up a really glaring contradiction, I think.
Yeah, the elephant in the room.
Right, because if this berry possesses such an incredible biological defense mechanism and it's densely packed with vitamin C and manganese, why aren't we all walking around experiencing these massive health benefits?
Because we completely sabotage the biology. The way we consume them destroys the very benefits we're trying to get.
Which brings us to the great commercial sugar trap.
The issue stems directly from the berry's natural flavor chemistry. Raw cranberries are aggressively tart.
Oh, yeah, they are.
When you look at their chemical makeup, they contain very high levels of quinic and malic acids, and they have an exceptionally low natural sugar content compared to almost any other fruit humans consume.
Anyone who has ever popped a raw cranberry into their mouth knows exactly what you're talking about.
It's an experience.
It's like biting into a battery. It will just pucker your entire face with this sharp, astringent bite.
And the modern commercial food industry of the 1950s and 60s realized they couldn't mass market that intense tartness as a daily beverage.
People wouldn't buy it.
Exactly. So they had a very simple, very blunt solution for anything that tasted astringent or bitter.
Drown it in refined sugar.
Drown it in sugar and high fructose corn syrup. They took this incredible botanical vessel of A-type proanthocyanidins and processed it into commercial juices, dried snacking fruit, and those canned sauces that are fundamentally just candy.
I mean, they really are candy. And the clinical studies are incredibly clear on the fallout from this. The sugar completely counteracts the health benefits.
It totally negates them.
You've got millions of people drinking this bright red commercial juice cocktail, and they're thinking, they're building up their urinary tract's Teflon armor.
They think they're being healthy.
Right. But in reality, they are simultaneously flooding their system with refined sugars. That sugar causes systemic inflammation, it spikes your blood glucose, and it actually provides a primary food source for the very pathogenic bacteria you are trying to fight off.
It's really the biological equivalent of trying to put out a campfire with a bucket of water that has a gallon of gasoline mixed right into it.
That is a perfect way to put it. The sugary PR of the cranberry has effectively neutralized its true wellness potential for the general public.
Because the added sugar feeds the inflammatory pathways, completely negating the antioxidant benefits of the vitamin C and the manganese.
So the question the source material poses is one of practical application, right? Like, how do we execute a culinary rescue here?
Yeah. How do we integrate these biological benefits into our daily diets without falling into that commercial sugar trap?
Well, the botanical sources offer some fascinating culinary solutions to bypass that trap. One of the suggestions is tossing fresh whole cranberries directly into a morning muffin or pancake batter.
Which is delicious, by the way.
Oh, I bet. And another is simmering them down into a low-sugar orange zest compote to serve over a savory dish, like maybe grilled chicken or pork belly.
Yep, using it like a savory sauce.
And the third one is throwing frozen berries directly into a morning blender for a tart nutrient kick in a smoothie. But I have to be honest here, I want to push back on the practicality of that last one.
Oh, let's hear it.
So what does this all mean? If they are that intensely tart, if they're loaded with all that malic and quinic acid, like you said, how do you eat them raw in a smoothie without just grimacing through the whole glass?
You think it'd be too sour?
I mean, dropping a handful of freezing, unsweetened cranberries into a blender sounds like a recipe for undrinkable sour sludge. Like, are we just supposed to suffer through the tartness for the sake of our cellular vitality?
I get the hesitation. I really do. It sounds brutal on paper.
Yeah.
But that assumption relies on the idea that tartness is an inherently bad flavor that must be masked or hidden.
Which is what the food industry taught us.
Exactly. Instead of viewing it as a functional flavor profile that can be chemically balanced, embracing that natural tartness actually awakens the palate.
Awakens it how?
Well, when you throw those frozen berries into a smoothie, you aren't drinking them in isolation, you're blending them into a matrix of other whole foods.
Okay, so you're relying on the natural structure of other ingredients, like maybe a banana, some avocado, or a handful of naturally sweet berries like strawberries.
And that's where the flavor chemistry works in your favor. The intense acidity of the cranberry actually cuts through the heavy, dense sweetness of those other fruits.
Oh, so it acts as a balance.
Yes. It brightens the whole flavor profile, adding this complex tang rather than an overpowering sourness.
That actually sounds kind of refreshing when you put it like that.
It is. Furthermore, by utilizing the raw or frozen whole berry rather than a processed strained juice, you are supercharging your botanical intake.
Because you aren't filtering out the good stuff.
Exactly. You're consuming the tough skin, the fibrous pulp, the seeds, the entirety of the plant matrix, where those A-type proanthocyanidins and that manganese are actually most concentrated.
You're keeping the architecture of the plant intact. I really love the idea of utilizing that acidity in savory applications too, by the way.
Oh, the compote.
Yeah, that low-sugar orange zest compote for grilled chicken or pork we mentioned earlier, it completely recontextualizes the cranberry for me.
It drags it right off the holiday dessert menu.
Yeah. Yes. It puts it right into the Tuesday night main course. The natural quinic acid of the cranberry acts just like a squeeze of fresh lemon or a dash of high-quality vinegar.
It's an acid trip for your palate, in a good way.
Exactly. It chemically cuts through the rich fat of the meat, cleansing your palate with every bite. So you're getting this massive dose of localized cellular defense, and you're elevating a basic chicken dinner with high-level culinary science at the same time.
It really highlights the versatility of whole foods,
Huh.
Once you realize you don't need to drown an ingredient in syrup to make it palatable, you start seeing these botanicals as everyday tools rather than once-a-year novelties.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Once we realize we can easily integrate these tart, potent berries into our daily savory and sweet dishes, it completely shatters and rewrites our entire definition of what a superfood is supposed to look like.
Oh, for sure. The wellness industry certainly has a very specific aesthetic for that word.
They absolutely do. I mean, when we hear the word superfood today, we are conditioned by marketing to picture things that are exotic, rare, and almost always incredibly expensive.
Acai bowls, goji berries, things like that.
Right. We think of finely milled powders shipped from deep within the Amazon rainforest, or, I don't know, dried berries harvested by hand from the slopes of the Himalayas.
It's all about the mystique.
We've developed this inherent bias that true health and cellular defense must come from a distant, mystical place with a premium price tag attached to it.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this really forces you to look at your local produce aisle with fresh, highly critical eyes.
It really does.
Because the exoticism of wellness is a brilliant marketing tool, but it encourages us to overlook the extraordinary biology of the plants growing in our own backyards, simply because they are familiar to us.
Right, like we just assume that if it's common, it can't possibly be powerful.
Exactly. We take it for granted.
But here we have this humble, incredibly potent little berry. It isn't growing on a remote mountaintop across the globe. It's growing right in the wetlands and harvesting marshes of New England and the Midwest.
Literally just down the road for a lot of people.
Yeah. It's sitting in the regular produce aisle of your standard neighborhood grocery store. It's inexpensive and completely accessible.
And yet the clinical data proves it stands absolutely toe-to-toe with the most expensive imported superfoods on the global market.
Especially when it comes to combating oxidative stress and preventing bacterial adhesion.
The cranberry is really the ultimate local superfood. It's a perfect example of a powerful wellness tool that has been hiding in plain sight for decades.
Completely obscured by commercial sugar and clever marketing.
Yep, it's time to reclaim it.
It offers such a direct, democratic way to bring high-level preventative nutrition into your daily kitchen rotation. You don't need a membership to a boutique specialty health food store, you know?
You really don't. You just need to rethink the common ingredients you are already walking past in the standard grocery store.
Which is really the core mission of looking closely at botanical research like this. Our goal is to strip away the assumptions, bypass the commercial marketing, and look purely at what the biological mechanics are actually offering us.
Just letting the science speak for itself.
Exactly. So, to bring it all together for you listening, let's recap the real aha moments we've pulled from these clinical sources today.
Sound good.
We started by zooming way in on the microscopic science, uncovering those incredible A-type proanthocyanidins acting as tiny Teflon-like shields.
The Packies.
Right, the Packies. We learned that they don't just randomly fight bacteria, they mechanically wrap around the fimbriae, those little grappling hooks of E. coli, preventing the bacteria from adhering to the walls of the urinary tract.
It's a gentle physical defense mechanism rather than a harsh chemical one.
Right. And then we also looked at the deeper cellular support, highlighting how the high vitamin C content aids in tissue repair, while the manganese acts as a vital coenzyme for your mitochondria's antioxidant defense system.
All working together in this one tiny berry.
Then we tackled the great obstacle blocking us from those benefits, the refined sugar trap.
The great undoing of the cranberry.
Truly. We discovered that the mid-century commercialization of this berry effectively neutralized its clinical value by drowning its natural quinic and malic acids in sugar, which ironically feeds the very bacteria we want to fight.
But there is a way out.
Right, by rescuing the berry in our own kitchens, whether that's blending the whole frozen plant matrix into a smoothie to balance the tartness with natural fats and sugars, or simmering a savory acidic compote to cut through rich meats. You can bypass the sugar industry entirely and awaken your palate.
Leading us to the realization that true preventative nutrition doesn't have to be exotic or carry a massive price tag.
Exactly. The most effective biological defense might just be growing in a local wetland, offering both culinary versatility and proven clinical results.
So accessible.
So the next time you are on a routine grocery trip, we challenge you to intentionally rethink your route. Walk right past the brightly colored, sugary juice aisle.
Ignore the canned sauce with the ridges.
Just ignore it. Navigate over to the fresh produce section or the freezer aisle and grab a bag of raw, whole cranberries. Toss a handful in a blender with some banana and spinach, or simmer them over some pork chops. Wake up your palate, utilize that natural acidity, and give your internal plumbing that structural Teflon armor it really deserves.
It's such a minor habit change at the grocery store, but the urology studies show it has a profound, observable impact on your biological resilience.
It really does. And as we wrap up this deep dive into the research today, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over on your own time.
Oh, I like this one.
We started today by talking about those sugary childhood juice boxes and the jiggly holiday canned sauce that have defined the cranberry in our culture for so long. But underneath all that artificial sweetness and manufactured nostalgia is a plant that slowly evolved a highly specific, microscopic, non-stick molecule.
The A-type proanthocyanidin.
Right, a molecule that just so happens to perfectly mechanically deform the grappling hooks of E. coli to defend the human urinary tract. I mean, it is a breathtaking piece of biological lock-and-key design between a human and a plant.
It's poetry, honestly.
It really is, which makes you wonder if a simple tart berry from a local marsh holds that kind of highly specific architectural defense mechanism.
Yeah.
Well, what other perfectly tailored microscopic cures are hiding in the unassuming, ordinary weeds and plants right in our own backyards, just waiting for us to stop coating them in sugar and actually study them?